Elizabeth Audencream.
This One's Wife. Almost Flattened by a Squaddie. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We witnessed yesterday the failed attempt by a member of the Sussex squad to bully the writer Tom Bower. He politely engaged with an uneducated epsilon semi-moron who was keen to try and provoke him. The individual, despite Mr. Bower being polite, harangued him and failed. It was just a representation of the way that members of the Sussex squad are found to behave. It's interesting, one wonders how they knew that he was there and if they would even recognise him. It does call into question, possibly, that they were put onto him, that somebody knew that he was there and sent that individual and others in his direction. Or it might be that they just happened to bump into him and did recognise him. Either way, Mr. Bower admirably dealt with the intrusive behaviours of that particular member of the Sussex squad. That was where a member of the squad was interacting with somebody that has been labelled as an enemy as a consequence of his well-researched exposure of the various behaviours of this one's wife. Exposure that has not been met by any kind of response by the litigious duo, because they will have been advised that any claim would fail because of the meticulous research that Mr. Bower undertakes. He has the evidence to support what he puts forward. But we're going to look at a different aspect of the interaction of members of the Sussex squad in respect of how one almost flattens this one's wife. Yes. There is a meeting of individuals, and I understand that the lady wearing the scarf that you will see in this short piece of footage has been seen with this one's wife on at least one of her faux royal tours, and is evidently a coterie member, an individual who assiduously follows this one's wife, which she's perfectly entitled to do. An individual who evidently thinks that this one's wife is a kind and decent person, which, again, she's allowed to form that view, erroneous as it may be. But it is also interesting how this individual and others appear at different places around the globe. Now, they may be of individuals of independent means with plenty of leisure time, but it also raises the possibility that this one's wife has a hand in ensuring that these coterie members are available. So there is an opportunity for her to look good. You're going to see an interaction that takes place which demonstrates, again, the necessity of this one's wife managing her facade and appearing to care for someone who seems to lose her balance and then almost drags this one's wife over, causing a near-by man to rush forward to make sure that the Duchess of Sussex doesn't topple over a hoarding. Have a look at the footage. Here it comes. Now, we see the lady that's very pleased to meet this one's wife lose her balance. I suspect that she attempted to lean against the hoarding, not realising that it's not particularly solid, and it started to give way, causing her to lose her balance. And because this one's wife, showing her customary physical assertion of control over an individual, would not let go of her, it looked as if it was going to drag this one's wife over also. The individual concerned is either a non-intimate tertiary source, or if she is known to this one's wife, she's a non-intimate secondary source. And you'll see that this one's wife treats her in a benign fashion. You'll also notice the way that she grabs hold of her, and the member of the Sussex squad does the same of her. The gentleman dives forward to try and prevent this one's wife from falling over, but she isn't pulled to the ground by the lady losing her balance, nor by the other two members of the Sussex squad who were stood filming the interaction. You'll notice the faux compassion of this one's wife. Remember, it's not genuine. She's a narcissist. It can't be, as she appears to ask if the lady is okay. But you'll notice the reaction of all around, and that of this one's wife is once again exaggerated. All this lady did was slightly lose her balance, and then she recovered it. She didn't fall into shark-infested waters. A drilling rig didn't land on her hand and crush it. It wasn't the case that she fell off a 20-story-foot tower block. She simply lost her balance slightly, thinking that a hoarding was going to take her weight, and it didn't. That was it. She recovered her balance, but all the noise that's made is over the top and once again performative of this one's wife. You also witness that it's no wonder that individuals such as this gravitate towards this one's wife, because rather than shake hands and put their arms around one another perhaps for a picture and talk, there's no discernible conversation taking place whatsoever. It's a series of noises, squeaking and shrieking and squealing, both from this one's wife and the lady concerned. You hear a cry of, "Oh my God," from somebody, and "Are you all right?" But then afterwards, once she's recovered, there's just this ridiculous exchange of noises, and it demonstrates the vacuous nature of this one's wife. That's all that she can summon up. And, of course, her supporters behave in a similar way to her. They are well suited. It's demonstrative, of course, that this one's wife has these individuals there to make her look good, and so that she has photographs taken, and she receives fuel because the act of taking a photograph, someone gives them attention, thus provides her with fuel. It's also an opportunity, once again, for her to manage her facade. It's likely this was all organised and that she's in touch with these individuals, or that the relevant PA, there's a lady behind wearing glasses who has been seen in the background at a number of occasions at these games, may well have coordinated this interaction. Naturally, famous people do need assistance, and they have somebody that basically runs their schedule and so forth, so that's not a surprise. But what is interesting, of course, is the way that this one's wife continues to fraternise with a group that are well known throughout the internet for their nastiness, their doxing of people, their vitriolic comments, and of course their complete hypocrisy, whereby they repeatedly seek to defend this one's wife against perceived racism and nastiness, and they then bandy around nastiness to Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. Birds of a feather and all that in relation to the Sussex squad and this one's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.